one's obsession leads to a lifetime of relentless work. Welcome to the Abyss Garden, a secluded land where we create endless pathways, unique cards made to inspire your stories, and to help you design unique artworks. This week, we are once again losing ourselves into the tale of a new character. For each of these 6 days, from Monday to Saturday, we are selecting a random card from our endless collection. Their purpose is to help us rekindle the flames of creation, to help us bring to life a new scene in the garden. The pathway we used today was called the Sever Stasis, and it states that entities' actions alter others' fate. The image that it brought back to me was the one of a deep ocean, a long lost seabed onto which carved tablets slowly sunk, fallen from an unknown location. Each of these slabs portrayed the fate of a different character, including these which hadn't yet occurred. This scene was one that I drew a few weeks ago, inspired by the cascade of events that was unfolding at the time in the Abyss Garden. And as for a lot of this kind of doodles, it left me with more questions than answers. Where was this place? Who had thrown these tablets to the bottom of the sea? And more important, who even carved them? And so, those are some of the questions that I try to answer today with this drawing. The new character that will follow this week is the Carver, an extremely fragile being who spends his days carefully engraving the fate of others onto hanging seeds. He's small, almost insignificant. Its face, its hollow eye, reflects the emptiness of its purpose. Day after day, line after line, seed after seed, the Carver is depicting the future of all. On his last piece, we can perceive the previous character we've created, this unknown darkness, which ended up falling into the trap of a powerful trickster. Besides this forefront scene, I also tried to allude to the environment in which the Carver is living, a hanging garden that we've never had the chance to visit before. In the background, we can also observe the slithering movements of an extremely lengthy being, a creature that we might encounter within our future doodles. It does feel really natural as we create a new scene to add elements that simply feel right, unknown pieces that will lead us to uncover ever more of the garden as we follow them. In the same way as these tablets led us to the Carver, this mysterious silhouette might just lead us to an entirely different side, to a new point of view to learn from, to a new pathway to follow. In the end, I really enjoyed creating this doodle. You might not have noticed, but I did try something new here. For a very long time, I struggled to depict background elements. They tended to become melded with the foreground, and render the important elements less readable. But here I did go for a very simple solution to avoid that, to leave a certain amount of emptiness at any place where foreground and background elements would touch. I didn't do it perfectly everywhere, but I feel like unconsciously, it really renders the scene, the image, way more readable. It might sound like quite of a trivial solution if you've already been drawing for some time. But since very recently, all my doodles have only been inspired by my own previous creations. And so it takes a while for me to randomly stumble upon a new way of doing things. From my perspective, it really feels like slowly building up an array of tools. From the spectrum of dots that I use as shadows, to the balance of entirely black to entirely empty spaces. Each of these elements were once a random trial that I made on one of my doodles. And the more time passes, the more this array of tools gets intricate and interesting. Every doodle now feels like a balance between using those tools in known ways, using them in new ways, and trying to introduce randomness in hope of seeing the emergence of new tools and patterns. But I think I have rambled enough. Let's now discover the new pathway that we created from this scene. Its name is the Hollow Carver, and it states that one's obsession leads to a lifetime of relentless work. It's a notion that feels quite close to my heart. The idea that one single interest, that one single question asked at a very young age, might decide the fate of someone for the rest of its journey. If you end up finding inspiration from this card, I'd love to discover what kind of creation your unique point of view could come up with. Also, if you end up creating some artworks from one of our pathways, hit me up. I'd probably be happy to send you some physical ones for free. But in the meantime, I wish you a nice day, and I'll see you tomorrow for the continuation of our tiny tale.